Welcome on in, Dragonfolk. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic day. I know I am. My name is Alex, and you are all here with me in the lair. Such a pleasure to see you guys again. I apologize for the delay in content. I've been very busy since I've been here in Colorado, and we're just trying to get things moving as fastly as we possibly can, but I am taking my time to make sure that I still want to bring you guys the content that you want to see. And I was blessed with this fantastic news just yesterday about a brand new set coming to Flesh and Blood called Bright Lights. I'm sure a lot of you guys have already heard about this set and how it all works. It's very, very interesting. I'll kind of give you guys a bit of a rundown, but I'll leave all the links to everything that I'm showing you guys in the description down below so you guys can see exactly what we're talking about. Bright Lights is going to be the 11th set in Flesh and Blood. And more importantly, it is going to be something brand new to the game, which is a entirely one class only set. The only class that is going to be found in Flesh and Blood Bright Lights is Mechanologist. Mechanologist is finally getting the love that they deserve through this specific set, even though they've gotten things like cards from Dynasty and so on and so forth. But this here is going to be a completely mech set, only mech stuff, but there's a little bit of a twist in the way they're doing these cards and in these packs more specifically, and I wanted to talk about that and the things that you might be able to see. So with this being the case, first I suggest that if you go check out the trailer for this, which is located on IGN is the first spoiler for Flesh and Blood Bright Lights. I suggest going to check out the trailer. Lots of really cool art and a really, really great trailer for something like a Bright Lights, Mechanologist set. So, very excited about this. So, what we are doing here is we are going to take a look at the article that shows off all the stuff that is coming in Bright Lights, things that we can check out, and kind of go from there. But I think more importantly, there is something in here that is, there are two things in this set that are really, really brand new. And then, of course, there's one that is gameplay specific. So we'll talk about these. First, let's talk about the expansion slot. So Bright Lights is going to introduce an expansion slot, which is a new feature starting with Bright Lights that offers a new content to a range of heroes outside those featured in the product itself. So it sounds like the expansion slot could be a little bit compared to like the list in Magic the Gathering. It replaces a token in about 1 to 15 boosters, similar to how cold foils have replaced a token slot in Flesh and Blood boosters, and they can contain anything here. They can expand the story within the wider world of Wraith, which means they might be a new card, they might be a card that has something to do with the set itself, but like in a different world, for instance, something to do with the pits, or maybe another Mechanologist card of some point in this specific scenario. They can expand the tournament card pool of classes and or talents outside the core focus of the product. So this could very well be new cards that we see in the expansion slot. Cards that are going to be hard to find. Now, them being difficult ones to find is going to be a little bit of a give and take, I would say, if they are like brand new cards and these brand new cards are actually really good. But we'll see how that works out. And then they also serve as an avenue to reprint key cards such as Findal's Spring Tunic, which is one of the cards possible to find in the Bright Lights expansion slot. So, everybody who's been on all my videos talking about how they believe Findal's Spring Tunic should be like a $20 card or something, and they need to reprint this thing, and this needs to go on and get going. Well, you got another reprint of Findal's Spring Tunic. There's a chance about 1 in 15 cards, or I'm sorry, 1 in 15 packs that are going to have this expansion slot card in it, and one of those cards could be a Findal Spring Tunic. So that is very cool that they are reprinting it. This is going to give it a lot of access to newer players who can't go out and buy, the older sets, even though Welcome to Wraith Unlimited is still incredibly cheap comparatively. This is going to be an avenue for them to go about in possibly finding it inside of their boxes. Now, I'm not entirely sure what's going to come in this set entirely as far as the expansion slots, but it is just kind of a fun little add-in that they could throw in there. But as far as the secondary market goes, I'm not entirely too sure what that's going to do to it, but I think just with this specific announcement of a Findel Spring Tunic, we're probably going to see a lot more hit the market because some people are going to just want the cheaper version, and they could probably sell their higher version of Findel Spring Tunic to get a cheaper version of it, if they don't have like the ultimate collector version, which is the Cold Foil Welcome to Wraith Alpha Edition or the Gold Foil, right? But regardless of the secondary market stuff, let's keep looking at the actual set. So when you're booster drafting this set, the expansion slot stuff is removed, so you won't be able to use them in drafts. So if you do draft a Findel Spring Tunic, you're not going to be able to play it. You would do the same thing with cold foils and so on and so forth. You'd remove the last 2 cards from the booster before you start drafting each pack, which will either be 2 token cards or a token and an expansion slot card. So they've got expansion slot cards or a premium foil card such as an extended art, legendary, or cold foil. So drafting is going to be a little different there, but now let's get on to the good stuff here. New cards for Flesh and Blood, more specifically for Mechanologist. And let me tell you, this is a very, very interesting way to go about playing Mech. Mechanologist originally, for those of you who don't know, they kind of like to go wide, do a lot of boosting. Boosting allows them to give go again on their cards that have boost by essentially taking the top card of their deck and banishing it. And if it's a Mech card, the card will get go again. And in most cases, you're going kind of wide, doing some boosting, or you're simply getting a whole bunch of items out on the board so that you can utilize steam counters to attack your opponent with your pistol for a lot of damage. That tends to be the case with most Dash experience there. But in Dynasty, they did include a card called the Nitro Mechanoid. Now, the Nitro Mechanoid was a way for Dash to essentially make an exosuit and attack with said exosuit, essentially making an ally for her to be able to do these crazy attacks. But the Nitro Mechanoid didn't like pop off as much as people's like favorite way to play Dash, and more importantly, not the most competitive way to play Dash. So what we see here is another add-on to the Mechanoid deal, except it is called Evo. So Bright Lights introduces brand new gameplay mechanics to Flesh and Blood with the first ever equipment that starts the game in your deck. Transform your base equipment into state-of-the-art Evo equipment and construct the mech suit of your dreams, then stomp the competition. So they are introducing armor upgrades for everybody. So armor upgrades is what we're looking at here with things like, let me see here, Evo Steel Soul Memory. This is a Evo base head, and if you have a base head equipped, you can transform this and then equip this. So you get to essentially buff your armor with things like this, which is very, very cool. There's going to be several more. This is a censored version of this card, which means that this does something else on top of this here. You can see it's just got this little like barcode down here. So it says when this transforms from or into an Evo with a different name, your hero gets +1 intellect until end of turn, which is pretty neat. Pretty neat stuff. And of course, it's got block 3 and temper, so it's already super huge. It costs 4 resources for you to be able to play this. But you are able to play this on top of these guys. This is the Proto Base Head. And this means that every mech, if they're playing these Evo things, you're starting with either maybe 1 to maybe even 3 pieces of armor that do not block and do not do anything. I don't know how many people are going to be running an entire suite of Evo armor, but having just this base head do nothing, it is very, very interesting, and I'm very curious to see how it's going to work out, because it is it is very, very wild to just have to upgrade your equipment. I couldn't imagine dead drawing into this at the end of first cycle and already having like having had no way to block out your opponent's attacks. I feel like it's going to be a little slow, but I'm sure there are ways in which you can essentially spark of genius your way into getting your stuff early and being able to pop that stuff out and upgrade your equipment early just to get it out on the board. Terminator Tank is another one here too. This actually does more. This attack, this is a Mechanologist attack that does more things when you have Evos equipped. So if you have 1 or more Evos equipped, this gets when this hits a hero, they discard a card. If there's 2 or more, it costs 3 less to play. If there's 3 or more, this gets overpower. And if there's 4 or more, this gets +3 attack. So if you're running a whole suite of Evo armor, this very well could be a 9 for 3 with overpower. On hit, they discard a card. So that's pretty crazy as far as like a game-ending card. This is definitely like a big... This is the big turnaround for, endgame Dash or endgame Mechanologist gameplay here. On top of it here, we do also have all these other cards. Like I said, this is all the proto-base heads and arms and legs. I'll kind of give you guys an idea. But we do also have new heroes. Now, something that isn't shown here, which I'll be able to show you a little bit on the other page there. But this is a new hero, Teklovasin. Teklovasin is the Teklo Industries founder. This is Dash's dad, mind you guys, for you lore heads out there. This is Dash's dad. So we get to play as Dash's dad now. And they have an ability to play Evos from your banished zone. So I'm not sure how you're going to get Evos into your banished zone, but that's interesting there. And then once per turn instant, you can pay 3, and you can play your next Evo this turn as though it were an instant, and when you do, draw a card. So there's a lot of versatility in that specific ability right there, in being able to get the Evo that you need in order to pump yourself up as far as instant speed goes and still be able to do some other stuff. You're able to draw a card, you're able to do more things on your turn, and at instant speed, you don't lose your action point, so it's really, really powerful there. I believe I have heard rumor that, and I haven't really seen like a true thing, but this is actually a very, very great representation of Nikola Tesla. That is, a lot of people say he looks like Benedict Cumberbatch, but I believe that he is based off of Nikola Tesla, and the young version of Teklovasin is actually supposed to be a young version of Stephen Hawking. So, very interesting concept. It's kind of crazy how like different they look as individuals from a young to an old perspective, but I do think the artwork is super, super cool. Obviously, Simon Dominic is killing it as far as this goes. Not to mention also, mind you, adult Teklovasin seems to be a majestic, but young Teklovasin is a token, which means that we are getting a new hero in Commoner. So, excited for that. Then, of course, we got that Terminator tank. That's another card there. And then we looked at all these here. These are the proto-base head, the proto-base chest, the proto-base arms, proto-base legs. And then there's also going to be a promotion for pre-release where people are going to be able to get Teklo-base heads. Now, this is a new proto, right? So this is like the base baby version of the stuff, right? But this is an upgraded version of it with 1 defense. So at least these base heads they have Blade Break. They all have Blade Break 1, but they are stronger than that. I'm not sure what these are going to be, if they're going to be like majestic or if they're going to be rare. I would hope they're rare because they still only Blade Break block for 1. Like, I feel like you're better off finding these in a rare slot. And then these are going to be in like these are in a token slot. So obviously this is like in case you didn't draw one of those. But it is kind of cool. So you're going to be able to get these during the pre-release celebration of the set. So we've got that going there for you. And then there's also another hero entering in as well, Dash.io. This is Dash.io right here. And that is a new version of Dash to be shown to us in Bright Lights. So, not sure if she's going to focus more around the mech stuff or if there's going to be more boost efficient things. She seems to be a little bit more teched up in this one compared to her previous one. So, I would assume some kind of building of the mech at some point is a big thing for it. Also, mind you, look at the background of Teklovasin's art. He's just got 2 giant robots fighting each other back here. So cool. This is going to be such a fun set. If you like steampunk, this is definitely going to be a set for you. But according to IGN, in an interview that they had with James White, there is actually going to be a third individual who will be joining us in this mech set, a third Mechanologist hero to join the fray. Now, there's a lot of people who are like, oh, it's going to be a new data doll, not sure. I personally think that you can find the answer to that in this art right here. Now, this art doesn't look like a whole lot, right? It doesn't look like a whole lot going on. This is the key art for bright lights. You see there's a big robot being worked on here. There's this big old Tesla coil in the middle. And you've got all these people watching, some scientists going on. But can you spot the anime protagonist? Yes, I can. He is right over here. Whoever this guy is has got to be the new Mechanologist. Look at this individual and tell me that they are not best friends with Dash, who is right here. And these guys are going to be the mech friends, right? The battle buddies, these two. So I think this person is going to be the new Mechanologist for sure, on top of Tekla and Dash. But that is a little interesting concept. I like that. Out of that, I like seeing some new heroes, right? 3 new heroes in a set is pretty crazy to me, to see so many new heroes, because, well, normally you only get 2. I mean, but you did get 3 for, we did get technically 3 for Outsiders, so 3 is a lot. So that's good. I like to see that there's going to be a nice variety, and they're all Mechanologists, which means that the draft concept is going to be really, really simple. But something that is also really, really simple is the Crack, Shuffle, and Play that they're doing. Crack, Shuffle, and Play is the new thing that they are introducing in here, which is much like Magic the Gathering's Jumpstart, where they are introducing a new 3-pack casual format that is easy as Crack, Shuffle, and Play. So what you're doing is you are opening up 3 packs of bright lights. You're going to put them together, and you're going to play the game. You don't have to worry about, you remove the tokens and any equipment, and then you just shuffle the rest together, choose your hero and weapon, and play. So that is Jumpstart in a nutshell. You get to just take the cards you have, mash them together, and just play. You don't have to worry about optimizing a deck. You don't have to worry about doing any of that. It's an only Mechanologist set. And because it's only Mechanologist, all the cards will be good for Mechanologist no matter what. And I think that's a big benefit to the casual scene, because Crack, Shuffle, and Play is going to be something that you're going to be able to play at an LGS, right? People can just come in, and even if you and the store owner are the only people who are in the shop, you can just take 3 packs of bright lights each, shuffle them up, and play a game. And I think that's really, really important, because it's going to get new players to want to be able to get into the game for a very, very cheap cost. It moves product, and frankly, it's just it's a great, innovative way to do this. I hope they continue to do this in the future, but I at least know that hopefully this format is balanced enough to the point where everybody gets to have fun with just 3 packs. And then, of course, we have all the information for the pre-release. It is going to pre-release on September 29th to October 2nd. We're running in over 1,000 game stores across the world. The sealed deck events will use modified format rules with 2 points of difference from normal Flesh and Blood sealed deck. Bright Lights uses only 4 booster packs per player, as opposed to the original 6, making it the best bang for your buck sealed format yet. That means that your sealed will be cheaper. It'll be cheaper by 2 packs. You get to, you don't need to buy 6 packs as entry. You only need to buy 4. And decks now have a maximum card size of 40 and a minimum of 30. That means that there was an issue with the Outsiders draft that a lot of people saw, where the fatigue game was really, really easy to do. You could just take all of your cards that you opened in your draft, pile them together, and go, okay, well, like either you're gonna kill me or you're not. And it ended up being really, really, really like a slog in most cases because there was no maximum deck size. But here, they are making it a maximum deck size of 40, which means that the fatigue strategy is no longer going to be a viable option, I believe, into all of this, these new Mechanologist cards. An announcement will be published on FabTCG in the coming weeks with full details. The modified format rules of Bright Lights sealed deck are applicable to all levels of events, including the Calling Barcelona featured Bright Lights sealed deck that will run alongside the World Championship in November. Now, I think that's a funny thing that a lot of people are bringing up is that in the Pro Tour, James White had talked about when they were trying to figure out where Worlds was going to take place. A lot of people did not know. They knew it was going to be in Europe. They didn't know where in Europe. Now we have an actual place that we're going to in Worlds. But I think the fun thing is that during this interview, James White had said that the World Championship is going to take place in a city with bright lights. And I think that is very, very fun to see that the set that will be legal and played in most, in all of the formats in the World Championships is going to be called Bright Lights. And it is very, very fun. So now I'm going to have to, anytime he has a press conference or anything, you're going to have to listen to his words. They may just hold a little bit of spoilers in them. But the Bright Lights exclusive IGN is down here too. These are some of the key dates you're looking for. Set code is EVO, 251 card set, 1 Fabled, 7 Legendaries, 46 Majestics, 56 Rares, 129 Commons, 12 Tokens, and 9 Marvels. We're getting even more Marvels out of this, so it's very exciting. I'm curious to see what is going to get Marvels. I would assume probably some Proto armor or maybe some Evo armor is going to have some Marvels in it. Maybe even some Mechs are going to have some cool things, so that's gonna be very fun. 16 cards per pack, designed for booster draft, sealed 3-pack and constructed play, contains cold foils. And I think more importantly, if we take a look over at the product sheet here, we can go ahead and take a look at what the distribution of the cards are going to look like. And of course, this is an idea about the event and the pre-release, but this right here is what we all kind of want to see a little bit of here, right? So here, the rarity distribution of the set. Cold foil is 1 per display. So you will be guaranteed 1 cold foil per box. And then, of course, it comes down to rainbow foils. 1 per pack, rare higher, 2 per pack, so on and so forth. And then the expansion slot may include content that expands any class or talent. So very, very interesting stuff. I'm very excited to see what exactly comes up with this and how it is best delved into the world of Flesh and Blood. I am very curious to see how a 1-class set is going to work as far as sales, too, because not everybody is in love with Mechanologist, and there are going to be people who only play Mechanologist who are really going to love this set, and then there are going to be people who only play Runeblade who probably have no reason to pick up any of these cards. The only thing I would suggest is that regardless of what your main is, give Crack Shuffle and Play a shot. Make sure to at least try it out. Go to your draft, right? Get some promos, get some fun, cool things out of it. Crack Shuffle and Play is something I'm super excited for. And even if you're just doing the draft alone or the sealed events, it's just going to be a fun time. I'm very excited, and I really, really hope that this is going to be a great experience for the Flesh and Blood players around the world, and I really hope that this is going to continue to provide some newer ways to play Flesh and Blood, and really put a lot of focus on the product itself being a game, like its own standalone game, as well as affecting the overall game of Flesh and Blood in the competitive scene. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really, really hope you enjoyed this video. If you guys learned something today, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. And let me know what you think about this new set. I really want to know what you guys are all about as far as a Mechanologist gang. I know some of you guys are really, really deep into Mechanologist. I know a few of you, and I'm really happy to see that you're getting the support that you deserve. Take up those Teklo Foundry hearts, everybody, because boy howdy, it's going to be a rough one. So thank you so much. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you all very soon. Nerd out.